Hello, and welcome to Tales from a Sex Store. I'm Hazel, and I'm here with my co host, Billy McWilliams.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Billy. Hi. How are you?
Hi. Pretty good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. You had some things that you wanted to talk about today, right?
Sure. Well, Valentine's Day at a sex store, which is awfully fun. I tell everybody I'm a farmer. The hay's coming in.
I love that, by the way. That's so fun.
Busiest day of the year. It is so fun. The other one is the fetish ball with the same day. So I'll chat briefly about that. And a sorority invited me to lecture on human sexuality.
A sorority did?
Yeah, here at a local university. Yeah, it was fun. Uh, they asked questions and it was really, illustrative. President came in the store and said thanks. So,
The president of the sorority?
yeah, it was good.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then a couple of the sorority members came in Valentine's Day. It was like, they were really jazzed. They said they learned a lot. So, well, it was exciting.
That's great.
Yeah.
I know that we had talked a couple conversations back about fraternities coming in, or one specific fraternity coming in. So it's going to be fun to hear about the sorority side of it now.
Yeah, yeah. They asked better questions. Well, I think there's a reason for it. I think there's more consequences for women's sexuality than there is men's.
Totally.
Men don't really have consequences compared to women: pregnancy, sexual assault, complicated plumbing. And what do you call a sexually successful woman? Is there a positive word?
That depends on your friend group.
Well, it totally does. But I mean, for the healthy sexual community, there's lots. But for quote unquote normal society, not really.
Right.
I mean, men are called studs or players or fuckboys or something like that, right? Can be negative, but well, by and large, it's positive. But a sexually adventuresome, successful woman, what do you call them? Same thing with LGBT or kink. We change the language. But it's like some women are taking a C word. They're using that more. So what happens is, so it's me, and this time it was about 40 women, and I come and I bring in toys, and I lecture for a little bit, and then we ask questions, and I try to do anonymous questions, but for various reasons that didn't work this time. So I had to ask every woman, "Hey, is it okay if I read your question?" And by and large, they said yes. And the only one person said no, which I totally thanked them for because I thought that was really brave. Don't read out that question. I'm like, yeah, I get it. And reading the question, I understand why.
Right.
It was a good question too. The funny thing about it is they were, of all the women, it kind of came down to two themes. The first theme was, how do I introduce toys to my relationship? And the second one was, how come I can't have an orgasm with my partner, and how do I do that?
Right.
And this was like, it was a heteronormative conversation. And usually when I'm talking to groups, I'm like, look, I'm just talking in heteronormative terms simply because more people are heterosexual than LGBTQ, but change the pronoun to fit your sexuality. And I would love to have a conversation about why LGBT is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's a good conversation usually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I understand speaking to the room, though, also. If you're in a sorority and largely heterosexual women,
Yeah.
then speaking in heterosexual terms makes sense. You don't want to speak to
Right.
the crowd that isn't there in front of you.
Well, a certain percentage are, though.
Well,
You
right.
wanna make sure that they're seen and that they're accepted.
And acknowledged. Absolutely.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
And opening, making that offer to open the space to that conversation is good too. Do you do that anonymously? Allow queer people who haven't come out yet to ask those questions, or do you posit methods of them to get their questions answered?
You know, I would if they were and usually they're anonymous and those questions typically don't get asked. I could get better at it, I think, because you don't wanna project implicit bias when you're talking to people.
Right.
And how do you introduce toys to a relationship? But the first thing is like, you talk a little bit about anatomy. The clitoris is here. That's where the orgasm is. The penis is there. They're separate. You
Right.
have to have some sort of manipulation of the clitoris. And that's why I love giving away vibrators because vibrators make it easier for couples to have orgasms together. That's just one reason.
Right.
Yeah. And usually with, to introduce toys, I think that the thing that's gonna get men changed sexuality is when they realize it's in their interest.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, out of every 3 orgasms, men have 2 and women have 1. And again, I asked the question in the room, say, "Do you know anybody here who's never had an orgasm?" And of course, hands go across the room. And then the second question is always, "Okay, now raise it if it's a man." And typically, they don't raise their hand.
Right.
So, does anybody know men who've never had an orgasm? I can't think of anybody. Now, there's asexual men, that's fine. And heterosexual men's biggest turn on is a woman sexually excited, hot, having orgasms, wants to have sex with him.
Right.
Sometimes he's kind of surprised she's even having sex with him. It's like, wow, really?
Yay!
That's why they're not prepared.
That's why they're not prepared. Sure.
Yeah, it's like, guys, bring a condom. That's not rocket science.
Right.
Yeah.
And swap them out. If you've got one that's lived in your wallet for 8 months, please just, like,
Get a new one. Get a new. That's why we give those away.
check the expiration dates.
Yeah. So what you tell your lover is, I want to have an orgasm with you together. I was thinking about doing this or that. What do you think? And let them know, flatter them a little and say, hey, you really turn me on. This is the thing, and say it specifically, that really turns me on about you. I want to have an orgasm with you together. How do we do that? I mean, you don't have to have it. I don't think that like a simultaneous orgasm is it's like the be all and end all of sex. And I don't even think that orgasms are the be all and end all of sex. I mean, it's a perfectly beautiful benefit, but it doesn't have to be mandatory.
Right.
But then the next one would be, okay, who gets oral sex first?
Uh,
Why is that? And why is sex over when a man has an orgasm? Women tell me they have to sneak into the bathroom to have an orgasm.
the sneaking part is really a bummer.
Because well, what all these conversations come down to is good communication.
Yeah.
Honesty honesty with yourself and honesty together, and developing trust throughout the circumstances that makes you feel more comfortable doing the things you really wanna do. And also making sure that if somebody isn't, get rid of them.
Right.
They need to figure out on their own how they're gonna get laid if they're not considered as somebody else.
Right. Right.
But I don't wanna sit there and judge men for being bad because I think that's one of the reasons we got ourselves into this trouble.
I like that you're saying that it's also not the woman partner in the relationship who holds all of the pressure to educate
Right.
her partner. It's on people to self-educate, and when you're being given as a gift information about your partner and the way that they like to be touched, to then accept that information gracefully.
Right. Yeah, how many times it's like, the man feels like he has to be in control and dominate and do all those things that takes away from the fact of being I don't wanna say sensitive because that seems somewhat unmasculine, even though it's probably the right thing.
Well, and if it seems unmasculine to be sensitive,
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe we should say responsive. Responsive to your lover, and look at the clues, because it's not just verbal clues, it's nonverbal clues, and it's
yeah,
reactions,
totally.
and when somebody's feeling uncomfortable, they'll show it to you in their body. Take that seriously and don't just ignore it. Don't just say, "Oh, well, she loves to be dominated," or something like that.
Right. And even if that's true, that doesn't mean that you can't do it better.
Yeah, but the question is, have you cleared that before you did it, or you just do it?
Absolutely. Yeah, all of the ways that communication can happen and need to happen and need to not be forgotten in the heat of the moment, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and Valentine's Day is usually the busiest day, and this year was the best year we ever had. It was great. It was really fun. People come in, they're getting something fun for their partner. They wanna provide. It's pretty cool. It's a fun thing. It's a fun day.
That's good. It's good that by and large it's a
Yeah,
fun day. I know that there's like kind of a lot of discourse around the pressures of Valentine's Day to be like a performative partnership.
right.
We need to be the best couple we can be for this
One time.
12 hours, right?
Right. Well, I like tend to think of it in the sense of, like, you're intentionally trying to make a great experience for you and your partner because you're committed to the relationship.
Right,
And it doesn't even have to spend a lot of money doing it. Your partner just needs to know that you love them and you care about them and you want them to feel good. And if you do anything that makes them do it that way, it's important.
right,
Yeah. And for example, when I talk to guys, I'm like, look, it's a life skill to be comfortable in a sex store. You got to learn how, but nobody teaches you how.
right.
And the other one is like, have you asked her? What does she want? What would she like? And what do you want to do with it? Where do you want to go?
Totally.
That's a fun conversation. And usually with the women, it's like, it's either lingerie or a nice toy or a lot of times it's a lubricant. And then we have that conversation about lubricants, like what's good. And usually the biggest woman's issue is stickiness. They don't like it to be sticky. And so you go for a lighter one.
Right.
Yeah. Nor a massage oil.
Yeah, yeah, sticky is gross.
I know. I know.
Which happens oftentimes because of here we go, this is where my training kicks in. I'm like, "Well, that happens oftentimes with water-based lubricants because of osmolality."
Oh, you're gonna have to explain that.
So osmolality is the exchange of water between cells, right?
Mhm.
Basically, for our purposes. So, if you have a water-based lubricant and you put it on dry skin, your skin will suck all of the water out of the lubricant and it will become sticky and tacky.
Okay.
If you are well hydrated, like very well hydrated, the lubricant will maintain its viscosity because the water in the lubricant doesn't get sapped out, right?
Right.
Put a drop of water in the desert and it disappears. Put a drop of
Right.
water on something in the rainforest and it just sits there,
Ah.
right?
That's a great point.
So
That's a great point.
so if you're using a water-based lubricant, one of the nice things about water-based lubricant is that it is reconstitutable. So
Right.
if it gets sticky and tacky, a couple of drops of water, just a sprinkle, or if you have like a hairstylist's mister,
Mhm.
those misting spray bottles, that's like the perfect spread of water
That's a great
that's a
idea.
little bit wet.
Right. Oh, what's it? That's a great idea.
Mhm. And it'll reconstitute the lubrication and allow it to do its job. Once your body has rehydrated by pulling the water out
Right.
of the lubrication, you can add more lubrication, by which I mean water, and it'll reconstitute.
Yeah.
If you just add more water-based lubricant, it just continues to get more sticky
Right.
because then the stuff that got sticky is pulling the water out of the new stuff that you've added in it. Everything just
And it's mixing it, you're not making
Mhm.
it less sticky.
Right.
I tell people sometimes if they think that their lubricant is too sticky, add some water to it and shake it up.
Mhm.
Makes it last longer.
Exactly.
That's why I'm also turning more and more to hybrids than just plain water-based.
Right, hybrids are good. They are built to not have that problem quite so much. The silicone is perpetual glide, which cuts down on the stickiness,
Mm. Right.
but also,
The natural feeling of water-based.
yep, that
Yeah.
extra cushioning that happens with the water-based, and it provides the moisture to the body. So though the water-based portions of the lubricant are still having the effect of osmolality, the body gets hydrated, which it doesn't with plain silicone,
Right.
but the silicone keeps it slippery. So it's
Correct.
good.
Correct. And depending on the hybrid, it's safe to use with toys.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't use anything with silicone because it ruins it." Well, it depends on the formulation.
It does.
There's the ones that do that, and there's also formulations for people who are perimenopause or menopause,
Mhm.
thinning of the vaginal walls. But and I think it comes back to 2, really important for hydration. You want good, healthy sexuality? Hydrate a
Absolutely.
lot.
Both partners. Everybody
Both
involved.
partners.
Everybody drink water. Just
Yeah,
drink water. Stop listening to the podcast right
and go
now
drink some
and
water.
drink a cup of water and then come
That's right.
back. Yes. Drink some water and then come back. Take a sip.
Yeah, that's right. Right. I was talking to an educator, and she learned about brain science, and she said, "What's the thing you learned?" And it was from a Harvard study, and she's like, "Kids need to get up and move, and kids need to hydrate.
Mhm.
So if you're not concentrating, hydrate."
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm gonna send you a picture of all the not all the questions, but some of the questions, and make sure that they're anonymous, and so you can read some of the questions that they ask, and maybe we can talk about that a little next week.
Sure, that'd be great. Do you remember any of those questions off the top of your head?
Well, a number of years back, somebody asked, "Is it normal for a guy to be mad if he doesn't get sex?" And that was a few years back, and that kind of rolled around in my head. It's like, no, it's not normal to be mad. Well, it's normal to be angry if you don't get something that you want, but it's not normal to be abusive if you're trying to pressure somebody into sex.
Right, right. It's normal to be upset. It's not normal
Yeah,
to make that someone else's problem.
precisely because of your insecurity.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, at some point it's a biological need, but I mean, you control your I think it's a misnomer that men are these sexual beasts who can't control themselves because I don't believe that.
Right.
You can. You just have to. And I'm not saying you don't make mistakes, but don't be I think that if you want to get laid, don't be pressuring a woman to have sex when she doesn't really, really want to. You know it. You're just browbeating a woman is not foreplay.
Gosh, right.
and and you want her to be willing, and there's ways to do it, and sometimes they're into it more than you are, and sometimes they're not. You just gotta figure that out.
Right. Yep.
But don't do it with anger or hostility.
Right. Negotiation isn't
Mm,
coercion, or the
precise.
other way around. Coercion isn't negotiation.
No, no. But it goes to a lot to the so people don't talk about it.
Right.
That's the biggest thing I got from that conversation, both with the kink community and the sorority. It's like communicate. Be honest with yourself, be honest together.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. What do you like? Where do you wanna go? And then if it turns out not so great, well, you learned.
Right.
But don't sit there and obsess about how bad it was because that just turns into pathology.
Right. Right. Yeah.
It's like food. Go to the supermarket, there's all kinds of food. Sometimes you don't like the food, don't eat it.
Right.
But don't say you're a bad person for eating it. Just don't eat it again. Big deal.
Totally.
Yeah.
Mhm. And if you do like it, eat it.
Eat it. Yeah. Yeah. We sell something called Flint Mints at the store, and it activates the salivary glands.
Mm.
And we give out samples, and people are like, "What's that?" I'm like, don't go there. I know what you're thinking because 'cause they're little white pills." I'm like, "No."
Right.
Um, they activate the salivary gland. They're like, "Who's that for?" I'm like, "Who is it for?"
Who isn't it for?
Right. You wanna make out? Great. You want oral sex? Great.
Do you have cotton mouth? Great.
Great. Yeah.
You wake up with bad breath? It's a mint. It
Right.
also will make you salivate.
And hydrate.
Hydrate. Hydrate.
Again.
Sip of water, everybody.
Hydrate. Hydrate. Yeah. Yep.
One of my very good friends says, hydrate or dihydrate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that we have an email address set up for the podcast. So I'm going to publish that to the podcast page of our website. And then people who want to can send us tidbits or questions or things to talk about on the podcast. So then, like with the sorority, people could ask us questions and we could reply to those as part of the podcast.
Oh, I'd love that actually. I think that what I didn't say was I just love the questions that the women asked. They were so brave. And
Yeah.
I felt that was the better way to do it than me just talk at them.
Yeah, right?
Right. Yeah. And it's pretty encouraging when they're like, "Oh, we loved what you did. That was really fun. I learned a lot." Especially because sometimes I'm talking to them, I'm like, "Remember where you were and look at where you are now."
Right.
It's kind of incredible. And if we could start that growth earlier, one of the frat guys asked about sex ed, right? And
Mhm.
I'm like, we need comprehensive, age appropriate sex education. And the implication is you start with saying, hey, don't touch yourself in public.
Mhm.
Don't let other people touch you.
Mhm.
And if people touch you, you need to tell somebody
Right.
and make that okay. And then you move on to the next saying, you're going to feel this, and this is what it's going to be like, and you're going to enjoy that. However, you need to understand that the other person needs to be this way too. And studies have shown people who have comprehensive age appropriate sex education lessen the onset of early sex and less STDs.
Right. Right.
So it's like when you have people like the fraternities and sororities who should be A, educated, B, intelligent, free, having agency, and they're having these problems. What about the society that don't have all those privileges that those folks have?
Right.
Yeah. So why can't we do that? Because people feel like it's going to change everything. And you know what? They're right.
Right.
They're right. But it doesn't mean they're going to lose their kids.
No, it might mean that their kids might have a smaller chance of ending up in a bad situation
Right.
because they would know how to avoid it, because they would know what is appropriate.
Right. And they have a better relationship and better sex
Right?
and more realized opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge growth.
There is a word that you just about touched on about the experience of needing to acknowledge that other people have different experiences than we do.
Privilege.
Sonder,
Did you say Sonder?
yeah, you said letting these people that we're educating know at an appropriate age about sex, you're going to experience a certain feeling, but checking in to make sure that anybody else involved is feeling positively as well, right? And that awareness of others having their own inner lives is Sonder. It's an epiphanic moment,
Okay.
a profound feeling of realizing that everyone, including strangers passing in the street, has a life as complex as one's own, where they are constantly living despite one's personal lack of awareness of it.
Right. So see other people and see your lover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
realize that the moments where you are two ships passing in the night, that ship has a whole course that it's going on, and
Yeah.
make that passing a positive one for everybody.
Meaningful.
Meaningful.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah. Seeing them as a complex human being just as they are.
Mhm. Whether or not you're paying attention to them.
Right. And not treating somebody like an object,
Right.
like your own flesh doll.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you pre-negotiate that in a scene and everybody's consenting to it.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, okay.
Because people will. Certain
Oh,
people
yeah.
will.
And some people want it and like it.
That's what I'm
Yeah. It's
saying.
like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck doll. Okay. Go
Yes.
do it." Yeah. Let yourself go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get out
Yeah.
of your head when you think too much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's part of it. When I'm talking to people, I'm like, "Okay, how do you give your partner the best orgasm of their life? How do you do that?" And the first thing you do is you tell them, Okay, I'm going to tell you a fantasy I haven't told anybody. It scares me. It's dangerous. It may not be even realistic, but I'm going to tell you because I trust you. In return, you need to tell me one that you haven't before. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but we might. But I want to make sure and tell you that I'm not going to judge you and I'm not going to make you feel bad. I'm just want to get to the next level with you.
Right. And you do that by offering, not by demanding, and I like that.
Right. Exactly. Well, like when I'm talking to the fraternity guys and I say, "Hey, I know that you've been accused of being rapists and perpetuating rape culture. I'm certain that the vast majority of you aren't. However, 3% of the men perpetuate the majority of the sexual assaults on universities, and they're usually upper middle class entitled men and striving class women.
Mm,
And they use drugs and alcohol to coerce a woman to have sex, and they work together. And they talk about women in disparaging terms, and they go through a lot of women, and they think their studs are getting laid and the women are getting sexually assaulted. And you see it, but you don't do anything about it. You don't do anything about it because usually they're higher up on the social chain. But I would encourage you to intervene. I'm not saying it's going to go good. It could fuck up completely. But guess what? You might just be saving this woman's life and helping your friend and helping the fraternity. Most of you won't do it. One of you will be the hero. Everybody wants to be a hero.
right.
Yeah. And I hope it works. But if I start with rapists and rape culture on universities, they're going to shut down and you're not going to have a conversation whatsoever.
Right.
And I was lecturing um, at a dorm once, and I said that spiel, and a woman said, "And women notice." And I went,
That's it.
"That's it." I mean, she said the very thing that I couldn't say.
Right?
The very thing. It's like, see, if it's in men's interest, that's when they're going to change.
Yeah.
They're not going to change if you tell them that they're Andrew Tate wannabe assholes.
Right. You wanna jump to the top of the social hierarchy? Stop somebody from being raped.
Yeah,
Everybody will look at you better outside of the people who are toxic.
right. Exactly. And then that makes you bad above your average, have a better relationship, have better sex. Isn't that what you want?
Yeah.
The other thing that happened was the fetish ball. And that's where the kink community comes together and they throw a ball every year and it's just once a year.
And it's not for profit.
It's not for profit. And they give the money to the help center. Yeah, they'd given like, God, $40,000 or something like that.
That's
I said,
fantastic. That's so much. That's
I know. I
wonderful.
told him, like, you can keep the money and grow the healthy sexuality that you're doing. And they're like, no, we just want to give it to the help center. I'm like, okay, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that because the help center helps everybody. 24-hour crisis counseling referral line. The nice thing about it, I was talking to staff today before I came, and I'm like, "What do you like about the fetish ball?" And they're like, "Because the fetish ball brings in everybody compared to something like, say, Queer New Year's Eve,
New Queer's Eve. Yes.
New Queer's Eve."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's typically just LGBT and maybe some friendlies,
Mm.
whereas the fetish ball is like you've got the kink community, you got the poly community, you got the swinger community, you got the LGBT community, you get the looky-loos, and it's like 300 people, and it sold out a week before. But here's the big thing, it's like the important thing is you watch out for everybody and make sure they're safe, and if you see somebody doing something wrong, you stop it or you let somebody else stop it.
Mhm.
No nudity, but everything but. So you see all kinds of cool leather, you see all kinds of scanty outfits, and everybody's just really complimentary with everybody. They just feel so relieved.
Right.
And then there's shibari demonstrations and drag demonstrations, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful event. In general, I think both the kink community and the LGBT are relatively repressed communities, and allow them to be themselves, even for like 4 hours or 6 hours. You can just see it. It's so positive. I just love it.
That's one of the things that I was really it was a culture shock for me moving to San Francisco from Bozeman,
Mhm.
was that in Bozeman, there was, like, propriety that is agreed upon for Montanans. In Bozeman, people act a certain way.
Right.
You talk about things
Yeah.
topically or on these agreed upon conversational topics, but you don't really like get into your deep personal life. You don't get into self expression in public outside of Montana dress codes, basically. Like, and it's unspoken, but it is like you would get side eyed.
Right.
You'll remember in the 90s, one of my good friends used to come in and buy feather boas, and he would walk all over Bozeman wearing his feather boa.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful man, just a delightful person, but
Yeah.
everybody knew him. And oftentimes, the conversation around the way that he dressed was very belittling and demeaning because of his beautiful flamboyance.
Right.
He added a boa. What's the big deal with that?
Yeah.
Or like a feather jacket.
Right.
Feather jacket. That jacket was fire.
Anything that's not heteronormative is somehow dangerous, right?
Right. And I moved to San Francisco and people were like looking at me funny because I wasn't just expressing my whole self unreservedly.
Right.
The fact that I had reservations in the way that I carried myself and spoke and dressed, people pulled away from me because they didn't know what to expect. I clearly wasn't expressing my whole self, and so they were giving
Uh-huh.
me more space.
And you're wondering why you didn't respond.
Exactly. It was a really interesting first 6 months.
Well, that's fascinating. It's like you felt reserved because that's the way you grew up, and that's the culture that you literally were born and raised in.
Mhm.
And then you go to a place that has a different culture, and that's one of the reasons why I think there's backlash against San Francisco, because people are scared that it's gonna, infect their kids and they're gonna be that way.
Well, and good.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
Nobody's gonna train your kid to be queer,
No,
but giving
no,
your kid freedom of authentic self-expression, regardless of what that is for that child,
right.
that's not grooming. That's just
No,
giving
that's
them a
growth.
playground to, like, fully be themselves in.
Yeah, right. Why do you have to you can choose whatever you wanna do with your life.
Yeah,
And if you're good with somebody who's different than you are, you can be the best person you can be,
exactly. You can learn so much.
whatever that looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you wanna dance with guys, dance with guys.
right,
If you wanna dance with women, dance with women.
right.
If you wanna dance alone, dance alone. Yeah,
Absolutely. And it doesn't even have to be about relationships. Like, cultural differences come down to, like, everyday appliances, right?
right,
How many major cities would benefit from having an underground bicycle storage system?
right.
Portland, San Francisco, major cities, bicycles get stolen all the time. Stuff gets stolen off of bicycles all the time because you just
Totally.
can't lock them up well enough.
No.
In Japan, there's a kiosk. You scan your
Yeah.
card, you put the front tire and the handlebars of your bike into a slot, and a machine pulls your bike in, takes it underground, and stores it in a locker. It's automated.
Wow. That's so civilized.
It's so civilized. There's not like a plethora of bicycles clogging up the walkways. Nobody can steal your stuff or your bike.
Right.
It's stored securely and it is tethered to your card that you use to store it, and it's inexpensive.
So you put the card in, boom, comes out.
Mhm.
What a great idea.
Right.
What a great idea.
And this moves into like, there's just all of these innovations, right, that are culturally totally obscure to the United States, right? We don't have these here. We could
Right.
totally have them here. They would solve all sorts of crises.
Right. Our culture is holding us back. And it's holding us back because there's a lot of self-repression.
Right. Our monoculture is holding us back. Our inability to look
Precisely.
at other cultures for what we can share, what can we exchange? How do we broaden
Yeah.
our minds? How do we grow?
And at a certain point, it's an arrogance. We're the best no matter what. And that gets reinforced. And it's like, says who? And why?
Right. Well, says the fact that we don't listen to any of the media that comes from outside of our own country. And the bomb drop there is that's propaganda.
Yeah. That's propaganda. That's right. Yeah. I'm surprised that so many people don't travel.
Yeah, and travel.
Mhm.
It's hard to travel though. The United States is huge. Just Montana has more square miles than the entirety of the British Isles,
That's crazy.
right?
Yeah, and it's 1,000,000 people.
It's a million it's a million people. There's
And they call Bozeman Bosangeles.
there's nobody there. It's huge.
Yeah, yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was fun. The day of the kink ball, I was talking to a couple clients and they were in the kink section. I'm like, "Oh, you're going to the fetish ball tonight?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't have tickets." And I'm like, I buy tickets and I leave some out just in case. And I'm like, "Guess what? I have 2 tickets. Do you wanna go?" And then they're like, "Oh, yeah, we'll take you up on that." So I gave them the last 2 tickets,
That's
and they
amazing.
came and they dressed and they were excited and they had the front for all the demonstrations. And it just feels so good to be such a positive, fun influence like that, where you have that opportunity. You see somebody and it's random and they would not have gone. They would
Right.
not have gone. Yeah. It's fun to do that. It's fun when people get activated.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, Billy. I think that's our time for the day. What do you think?
Yeah. Lovely conversation. Hazel, you're a jewel.
You're a sweetheart. Thank you so much for this. I love doing this with you. This is so much fun.
It's one of the best parts of my week.
Mine too.
Metal hug.
Mental hug. Thank you for listening, everybody. This is Tales from a Sex Store. I am Hazel here with my co host, Billy McWilliams.
Happy orgasms.
Happy orgasms.